Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at McDroid. This is a game from Elefantopia, and it is coming out on Steam today. It's been on Desura for a while, but I believe this is kind of an updated version, and it will be for PC and Mac. I don't have a confirmation of the price, but the Desura version was $15, so I would expect pretty similar to that. And of course I will have a link in the description below to the Steam page. I did receive a press code of this a while back, and I kind of put it off to the side waiting for the release, but in the past day or two I've played, an hour and a half or so. I've basically played through the first 4 or 5 levels, I guess, and it's kind of interesting, in the same way that games like Sanctum were interesting. It'll make sense as I jump into a level. I'm going to jump into level 3 here. And the reason that I say that is because it is kind of a twist on tower defense, if you will. Basically, we are going to be playing a little droid guy that actually moves around the field, right? And it's maybe a little less structured than a normal tower defense because the enemies aren't going to move in like clear-cut patterns. The enemies are going to move in basically whatever movements they want. So certain enemies will actually sort of be attracted to us and will follow us around. Other enemies might want to just go straight for our ship, and our ship is kind of the point of interest for the enemies. That's where we need to be defending, and that's where the enemies want to take us out. So what I'm doing here is, at the beginning of each level, we're given these strawberry seeds. Strawberries are incredibly important because we want to bring strawberries back to our ship, and then we can spend strawberries to buy basically our towers, if you will. Again, kind of big air quotes on a lot of this because it's not exactly a tower defense, but it's not exactly not a tower defense, and that is a box quote that you can put on there from me. So anyways, yeah, you'll see as we go out here. They do give you a fair amount of time here at the beginning of a level to sort of start getting prepared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy this welder gun, and I'm not actually sure. Yeah, okay, so the first thing that happened after I beat this level was I was able to go spend diamonds on upgrades. So I was kind of looking to see if those were something I could go do right away, and it turns out they're not. So I bought those upgrades, but I don't actually get to use them until after this level. So it looks like upgrades do not... I don't know how... upgrades are not backwards compatible with levels, maybe? I'm not totally sure how you'd really describe that, if that makes sense. Sure. I will buy that. Okay, so basically what I'm going to start doing here is I'm gathering strawberries so that I can buy these welders. And this is a really good level to show things off because it's really simple. We've only really got one thing worth buying. There are a couple things I could buy, but they're not necessarily worth buying at this point, if that makes sense. So what I'm instead going to do is I'm going to just keep buying these welders. I will go over what else I can buy. You can see that occasionally enemies will drop seeds, so I can kind of continue growing strawberries. If you think of like the Plants vs. Zombies mechanic, and I know I keep saying this isn't really a tower defense, and I keep kind of comparing it to these other sort of tower defense games, and that's because it really is. Maybe we need a new genre called sort of tower defense. But you can kind of consider your strawberry patch like your sunflowers in Plants vs. Zombies, because you could just not worry about it after planting the initial ones, but the more you get, the more strawberries you'll get, and the more that you will be able to purchase, if that makes sense. So it's kind of what we're going for here is a full array of these welders, besides the fact that I can actually also use welders, and when I use welders and I'm near other welders, they will auto target wherever I target. So that gives kind of a combined power, if you will. So there are definitely lots of advantages, but my strategy so far has been fill up every plot that I can with these welders, and then get one for myself. And that's pretty much it. I am going to actually see if I can go into audio options here. I'm going to turn the music up a little. Normally I'm turning music down, but I want to see if we can get a little bit going. I'm not sure if there just isn't music right now. I thought I remembered music in the level. Yeah, so you will see that these enemies do react differently. Some of them are going straight for like the nearest thing that they can target, whereas some of them go for me, some of them go for the tower, which is kind of nice. It gives a little bit of a different feel than a normal tower defense where everything just kind of goes straight for your tower, right? So, okay.
Upgrade.
Interesting. Oh, cool. So, okay, that was actually... I got you now. Okay, I've got this figured out. That was actually the thing I bought. So it wasn't actually a new tower. It was an upgrade on my old tower. So what I can actually do now is get these Cyclopses, and I can start sort of replacing my old towers. And you can see that this does start getting pretty crazy. At some point, as you can see here, our strawberries actually stop. So this is kind of that point. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with the music. I swear I remember music. Maybe I just need to up the volume some, get a little bit more music going. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm still not really getting any. I'm not really sure what that's all about. I thought I remembered music, but that's okay. We'll go like that. The last thing I really need to explain is turrets obviously can take damage. We can heal turrets by being next to them, but at least as far as I've played, there's no way for you to heal yourself. And then as far as like the other things we can pick up, the last thing that I need to explain that we can pick up are enemy souls, which we will see every once in a while. These are diamonds, right, which we spent on upgrades, which I will show off after this level. And yeah, that's really it. I think the only thing the souls do is determine how many stars we get for the level. And so far, I haven't really found much of a reason to be too concerned about that. I think that's mostly sort of a social aspect, because it does give you, like, your friends' leaderboards and stuff like that. The last thing to really mention gameplay-wise is that so far I've found the game relatively easy, which is not a bad thing at all. But also I'm still in the early levels, so I'm sure it does get harder as we move on here. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's really the last thing to discuss gameplay-wise, other than me showing off the upgrade system here in a second, and us jumping into a level that I haven't beaten already. So yeah, we're going to go continue, and then we will go to the upgrade level. Yeah, my thoughts on McDroid. I like it a lot. It's, if nothing else, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if it's a game that I'll necessarily keep playing in my free time or anything, but I have enjoyed my time with it, and I think if you are a fan of you know, tower defense games, if you're a fan of, again, it's so hard to really categorize this. Let's see, increase McDroid resilience. That seems like a good thing to spend money on, and I think that may be everything that we can spend money on. We might be out of diamonds now. Looks like everything else is locked off, but that's fine. So yeah, this is the upgrade system, basically. So we get to go and we get to upgrade things, which is pretty cool. I like that aspect. It does mean that, you know, as we get farther and farther, things are going to get more and more interesting, and we're going to have more tools to go up against these harder levels. At this point, I think we're going to at least start a level that I haven't played before. And yeah, I think that is what we'll do. Should be down here. Yep, level 5. Let's do it, the Magma Quarry. There is also co-op, I should mention. I have not tried the co-op myself, but I can imagine that it would be pretty fun, I would think. Okay, so very first thing, right, we want to start, as always, repairing the things that we've got, and also starting our strawberry patches. As far as, okay, let's see here. Planet's hearts can only be healed by blissing the ground beneath them. Carry a bliss engine or plant some fertilizer close by. Interesting. Oh. Gotcha. Alright, so I actually need to wait for strawberries so that I can shoot those down. And then we can kind of move on from there. We can take this over to that. I think that's kind of our goal here. Again, I'm kind of going in sight unseen on this level, but that's okay. Yeah, you know, the game is not perfect from a technical standpoint, at least in my experience so far it isn't. You know, there are the occasional frame rate hiccups, things like that, but whatever. For the most part, it plays fine, especially when we're in the levels. And that, to me, is the most important time for the game to be playing well. So this is really not working all that well. Not sure if I'm doing this wrong. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Alright, got some souls here. I am like taking damage. Oh, okay, then I won't leave it there. That actually unlocks a new thing for us. Okay, so we can do that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I think we need to try and take this over to here, right? Turrets like this one in blissful areas will do twice as much damage. Very nice. That is sweet. Cool, and it'll heal that, of course, which is the other big advantage. Yeah, so I am not doing too hot here. Yeah, I guess what we're going to go for is we're going to go for destroying this, which shouldn't take too much longer. I'm not sure how close we are to a wave starting.
Wow, so beautiful. The first
Very nice. Oh, and it dropped some diamonds for us, which is really nice.
Was that?
Okay. Yeah, you know, so like I said, occasionally like frame rate dips going in and out of levels, things like that, but for the most part it is pretty clean and it runs very well in my experience. Trying to think if there's really all that much else I need to talk about. Obviously, you know, the art is it's interesting. It's very good. I'm not sure if it's for everyone. I personally like it a lot. It's got kind of this sort of cel-shaded look, I guess. Alright. If you haven't noticed, there is actually a cap of how much of each resource we can carry, right? So like diamonds and strawberries, we can only carry a certain amount, so we do need to make sure that we're sort of portioning our trips, I guess. Oh, goodness. Okay, I need to get one of... Okay, first of all, we'll do that. Then we need to get that guy. Okay, so this is actually an alternative thing to spend our diamonds on. So that's interesting. We've actually got something to spend diamonds on in the level, which, of course, kind of is a risk-reward, I guess you could say. Yeah, you know, I really don't know that I've got all that much else to say about it. Oh, I can hear the music faintly now. It's just kind of in the background. I do remember, though, liking the music when I had it balanced a little better. You know what I do. I rebalance always for these videos to make sure that my voice comes out well. So hopefully I succeeded in that, even though I'm not sure that you can totally hear the music. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's got kind of like a rock soundtrack going from what I've heard, from what I remember from some of the other tracks I've heard, which is definitely cool. You know, the game's got a whole kind of feeling to it, and it's a neat feeling. It reminds me, in a really odd way, of like Borderlands. I don't know if maybe that's just me, but I do get kind of like a Borderlands vibe from it sometimes, which is cool. It's an interesting game to get that kind of vibe from. So, yeah, all in all, I definitely like the game. I think that if you are a fan of tower defense, like I said, and if you're a fan of some of these weirder tower defense games that sort of turn the formula around, then I think this is definitely going to be the game for you. I don't even know what I just bought. Oh, I guess I bought like an oil barrel. How weird. Anyways, yeah, so I think that's where we're going to wrap this up. But like I said, there will be a link in the Steam description. There will be a link to the Steam page in the description below. And as always, feel free to leave comments if there's anything you'd like to comment on. Sorry for being so scatterbrained. Long day. But yeah, I hope you got my point. I definitely like the game, and like I said, I think a lot of other people will as well. It's very well put together, and it's interesting. I think it's one of the most interesting things to be done with tower defense in a while. So that definitely gets some huge props from me. And like I said, if you're looking for kind of a unique tower defense, this is definitely it. So yeah, feel free to leave comments if there's anything you want to comment on. Subscribe to see more from me every single day, and of course, if you liked the video, please do consider clicking the like button. But with that, I thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.